DraftKings. DraftKings came out with early college football betting lines, and 5 Longhorn games are listed. So tell me what you think of these, Patrick. So they have Texas at Michigan. Texas is a 3-point favorite at Michigan. How you like it, love it, or run from it? I think I like it.
I like it.
I'm on a borderline of loving it.
I like it. I'm not gonna say I love it. I like it.
Man, Michigan lost a lot. They lost their head coach. They lost their defensive coordinator. They lost 18 something, 18, 20 guys. They got to replace all 5, even a 6th offensive lineman. Got to replace the quarterback. That defense is still going to be pretty nasty, though. They got the best D tackle room in the country. I think what's his name? Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant, I believe the D tackles' names. I could be mistaken about that. Will Johnson's the best corner in college football. And they got Wink Martindale from the NFL, who's a NFL defensive coordinator. So I think defense is going to be fine. Defense will be legit. And they still got hardball bodies there, and they've been playing hardball football, and they'll try to continue to replicate that, but they don't have the hardball. So they're going to be trying to play hardball football without a hardball. Yeah. And I think that's going to be tough for them. And I think Texas, at least with the things that Texas brings to the table here, I think they may be a little too explosive offensively for that Michigan squad. Because I don't know, and not that the defense won't be able to stop Texas, but that they won't be able to score enough points necessarily. Because I don't know offensively what they're coming back with. Their running back is really good, but they don't have a lot of proven commodities.
That's the biggest question. It's hard for me in this offseason to say that Texas run defense is going to be as good as it was last year.
No.
And so we can't say the run defense will be that dominant. And then if Michigan's at home and they just run the ball on Texas over and over and over again and beat down that defense, and you have, a new defensive line that is trying to figure out how to stop this. And I don't know. I think 3, I like it, but I don't think this is a runaway game because I think Michigan tries to play ball control for most of the game. And so if Michigan plays ball control, then it comes down to it at the end where it doesn't. I don't know if Texas runs away with it.
I don't know if they run away, but I think they're going to win by more than 3. I do. I think they win by more. They beat Bama on the road. Now, that was a different team. But they did beat Bama on the road by double digits. And Nick Saban never got beat at home by double digits.
No.
And my thing about Sark is Sark, and we know this, a lot of coaches do it. He circles certain games because his offenses, they look different in certain games. They know no damn way the same team that went to Alabama, beat Alabama and Nick Saban by double digits in Tuscaloosa, came back and had to battle with Wyoming, all right, for 3 damn quarters, and the game was tied, and then they blew him out in the 4th quarter. Sark, he didn't game plan for that damn Wyoming game to the week of. He had been game plan for that Bama game for 4 or 5 months before that, and we all saw it. I think the same thing is going to be true about this Michigan game. The only thing that may throw him off is new defensive coordinator. You don't really know how Wink Martindale is going to call it, and he likes to bring it. And I just talked about how Quinn Ewers is pressure to sack numbers at 25%. Oh, Wink Martindale is going to test that. Oh, he's going to test it, man. He was one of the most blitz happy defensive coordinators in NFL history. He's coming after Quinn early and often, and they believe they can play man because they got the bodies to do it. So you're right. Your theory holds water because if they can run the football on Texas, then all bets are off. They not only does that line not matter, they can beat Texas. If they can run the football against Texas, they're going to be able to beat Texas potentially because then the offense won't matter as much because they won't even get enough possessions to score a lot of points.
Yeah, and that's
how you beat Texas. That's how Washington beat Texas. They just control the damn ball so much.
Yeah.
Remember, Texas didn't even see the ball in the 3rd quarter because of the fumble they had?
Yeah.
And they didn't even see the ball but like once or twice.
So that's more of why I like that they can still win the game, but I don't think it's a runaway. Well, I mean, runaways are bad, but I don't think this game.
No, I got you.
I'll say I like it, but I wouldn't put. I wouldn't put money on anything more than saying we cover 3.
No, I'm with you. I really do. I can see exactly what you're saying play out. That's why Texas got another one, a third defensive tackle right, in the transfer portal. Because Sark sees exactly what you're seeing, Patrick. That hey man, if we can't stop the run at Michigan, they just gonna go power, and hardball bully ball down our damn throat.
Yeah, if we can't stop it in the SEC, they're gonna go right at us.
Yeah, I just want to say I think Sark knows like that is the matter of fact. We have sound of him addressing that actually with Josh Pate. He was asked about his biggest concern for the season, like what could derail the season? D tackle.
Yeah.
He brought it. He said, and we know that because after the damn spring game, the only thing he complained about was D tackle. We need more D tackles. We need more bodies at D tackle. We're like, you look pretty good versus the run. Nope, we need more bodies versus D tackle. What about the secondary? We need more big humans at D tackle. So he's not concerned about that other stuff. He wants big humans at D tackle. I think that Michigan game may be at the forefront of his mind. The next line here, Oklahoma. They got Texas 8.5-point favorite over Oklahoma. Lost both coordinators, lost the entire starting O-line, lost your starting quarterback. Similarly to Michigan, they're going through a lot of transition at Oklahoma. 8.5, those a big number in a rivalry game, and anything can happen in that Texas OU game. We all know that, man. I've been on both sides of that damn thing, where we were the underdog. Nobody expected us to win on the other side. So I don't like that 8.5 number just because it's OU and anything could happen. It's a rivalry game. Anything can happen. I'd run away from that number and leave it alone.
I get it. I love that number.
Yeah,
I love it. I think this is that SEC is going to beat up on Oklahoma a little bit more this season. The only reason they were in last year's game was because of Dylan Gabriel. I don't know if they have that ability this season. And if you take that out, I think Texas can walk away with it. And I'll just throw this in as factual evidence that I think everyone on our text line, everybody agrees with, that it's 7:22 in the morning and OU still sucks.
Now that we can all
agree on that.
Yes, no doubt. No, you're right. You could be right about that. Texas could end up on. I just don't like, man. Listen, Texas been up 28 points in that damn game and end up losing. Like anything could happen in that game. So I just gotta stay away from it. But Texas is much better than Oklahoma. And you're right, Oklahoma will be more beat up, but Texas is gonna be more beat up too. Now, Texas is deeper than Oklahoma, so they should be able to withstand injuries and things of that nature in the SEC. But I don't know. I don't like lines in rivalry games like that. They're too big. And say what you want about Brent Venables. They outcoached Texas last year. Say what y'all want. Their game plan was better. They outcoached Texas last year. That's how they won. All right. Dylan Gabriel was a part of it, but that was coaching. That
Jeff Levy's gone now too.
And he had. Yeah, exactly. But they were still coaching that they broke tendency, and he had his best rushing game of his career, most rushing attempts of his career in that game. Yeah. That was intentional. That was deliberate. So and making that Texas D-line chase them, right? Going laterally a ton. All right, east and west as much as they could, making Texas big D linemen run around the field, making them chase that quarterback. They were worn out by the end of that game. T. Sweat and Byron Murphy were non-factors by the end of that game, especially in that 2-minute drill, because they've been chasing that dude the whole damn thing. That was a really good game plan, guys. It was one of the few times Texas got out coached last year. So that's part of it too. But you're right. Texas should win. I'm not messing with it. Texas versus Georgia at home. They're going to host the Georgia Bulldogs. They got Texas a 1.5-point dog versus Georgia. Ooh, that. I know Texas will be ready for Georgia. I know that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure they were a 20-something point dog to Alabama and ended up losing by 1 point at home there. I don't know if I'd mess with that one either. I mean, I expect that game to be decided by a possession.
Yeah,
and 3 points.
If you gave me 3, I'd probably take it. If you said, all right, Georgia's not going to beat us by more than 3, then I'd probably take that. But I don't like the 1.5. It's too little margin for me. It's too little margin.
Yeah, I'd probably leave that one alone too. I think it's gonna be a hell of a game. I mean, that's that game. Hopefully, you play Georgia multiple times next year, because I think they're gonna make it to the SEC title game. If you play them in the regular season and play them in the SEC title game, that means the season is going really well for Texas if they end up playing Georgia multiple times. Texas is a 16.5-point favorite at Arkansas. Once again, hated rivalry. I know Arkansas's got some issues, big issues. Arkansas, man, they probably care more about that game than any other game on their schedule, truth be told. Like that, to them, that game, I know for us, it's like, what? Texas doesn't care about Arkansas. It's like 4th or 5th on the priority list, maybe lower than that. But I'm telling you, for Arkansas, I don't know if there's a bigger game for Arkansas on that schedule. I know it sounds crazy, but that's old school, man. That's old school rivalry.
Well, no, I think that one, the Arkansas game is there. I mean, how many players on the roster were there the last time when Texas walked in? Sark's first year.
I don't think there's any.
Is there no one left?
None. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 guys.
So
maybe.
if there's, but that's the thing is, so if you had somebody that was left and lived through that embarrassment, I'd feel better about it. To them trying to come in and just be like, beat them by 90. We don't care.
Yeah.
I want to see fans crying. That is,
Yeah.
but I don't
Yeah,
think.
you're right.
I think Sark's
Yeah.
going to take it personal
For
because
Sark is big. Yeah.
I think for Sark it's going to be big. I think he's going to try and bring out the big guns and go for it against Arkansas because he knows he wants to kind of avenge that loss. But I don't know if there's the players on the roster that have that memory,
Take it personal.
that take it personal of like, no, we went there before and we got disrespected and we played terrible and we shouldn't. And now even if the guys were there, they weren't playing because they would have been probably redshirt or freshmen.
Yeah, I got to go back and count. I'm sure there are some guys. I mean, it's probably a few guys. I know Bendo was obviously on there because Bendo's been there forever.
Yeah.
So there are a few guys that were on there that remember it. I mean, that was Sark's first year. Now you're going into year 4, but with the transfer portal being different, I don't know if there are a ton of guys that remember it, but I know Sark does. Longhorn fans do, and it's a rivalry. So Sark probably has a circle. You can't circle everything, but I guess these 5 are probably your top games next season if you had to prioritize as a coach. And then you have the Aggies, of course, in Texas is a 4-point favorite at A&M. 4-point favorite at A&M. And that's, once again, for the Aggies. I mean, is there a bigger game on the Aggie schedule than that one? That's the biggest game for Arkansas. I think that's the biggest game for the Aggies, too, when Longhorns come to town. Because they're rekindling the rivalry, and it starts where it ended, right there back in Aggie land. They could ruin Texas' season, playoff hopes, maybe SEC title hopes. It'll be toward the end of the season. I think that's, like I said, for Texas, beware, because it could be circled for them. Not could be.
It is circle. I mean, this is you got to remember, this is the team that made it known that they never wanted to play us again and wanted to keep us out of the SEC and was upset that they were coming to the SEC. Like that, from faculty to students. Not one person ever wanted to play this game. Like they didn't want to play. And so the fact that they're now having to play it, they want to show that they are the better team. I get it. But yeah, it's one of those ones. It's a rivalry game, so you expect it to be tighter than it should be. It's at the end of the season. So, those games are always weird because, if you're going into a point where you feel you're going to be in the SEC title game where we hope Texas is at, and if you feel like you're going to make the playoffs where we feel Texas to be at, then how do you, as Texas players who probably didn't grow up with this rivalry as much as other guys did, and it wasn't necessarily like this, it's been long enough now that a lot of these young guys probably don't think of this rivalry the same way we do.
No,
I'm with you on that. I think the Aggies will, but I don't know if Texas players are going to walk into that and realize what the rivalry is.
No, maybe not. But I think Sark has discussed with some, journalists who've interviewed him that he is emphasizing that. Now, I don't know. Maybe you got to play in it to actually realize what it's all about. So maybe, his efforts to try to, make sure the guys are aware of the magnitude of it. Maybe that doesn't necessarily translate, but he said he's intentionally making sure that he is informing the guys, educating them on how big this thing is. Like, hey guys, don't go in here thinking, oh man, Oklahoma is our main rival. We got Georgia to play this year. We got Michigan. And, that the Aggies, oh, man, just because, and they may end up being, I don't know, a 7-win team when you play. Like, I have no idea how good the Aggies are going to be either by the time you play them. And he said, making sure that he makes sure that the guys understand, do not overlook the Aggies. Like, this is a rival, and this is going to be a big game. And I think it could potentially be bigger than the OU game this year.
Yeah,
it could,
depending. Depending.
Just because it's the first time that they played since 2011 when they decided to end the Texas A&M rivalry there. So, all right, those are the betting lines from DraftKings, early college betting lines from DraftKings. So let's just go. We'll table the Raj Ranto next segment, and then we'll get into the Texans trade for a wide receiver, and also talk about the Texans offense overall. So we'll just kind of throw it all there together and make it one big kind of smorgasbord of Texans talk in Raj Round the day. We'll do that coming